Hey boyos, daily checking with John V. 2025, May 2nd. I'm not probably going to ramble very long today. Yeah, I'm thinking of giving up forum browsing. It's really bad for my mental health. It seems like the, ch- the looks maxing forum's not so bad, it's more so the misc. And it just seems like every other comment is some bitchy remark that is meant to troll you and bring you down. And it starts to wear on me after a while because I can't handle it. I have insecurities. I mean, if I was fucking ripped and was CEO of my own company, making millions of dollars and all this shit, like, I would probably be largely unaffected. But, I have some insecurities about the way I look and my appearance and stuff. So, when anytime someone makes a comment on a forum about my physical appearance, it automatically annoys me and upsets me because I don't want to look the way I do, and I lack the motivation to, do a lot of exercise like walking to lose the weight really quickly. So I'm just doing it through diet. I can restrict myself better than I can force myself to do something extra, right? And dieting isn't so bad. It's like 5 pounds a month, which is something, but it's still going to take a while to get to my goal, right? If I was walking multiple hours a day, it would be accelerating the weight loss quite a bit, and I'd get to my goal a lot quicker. But I don't have the motivation or energy to really do anything with my life. Like, I'm not an incel, obviously. An incel is someone who hates women because of his lack of success with them. And I have success with women. Like, everybody has options. I just don't want the options presented to me, right? Like, who really wants a fat, ugly woman with 5 kids on welfare? Who wants that? Nobody. Even the guys on welfare don't want women like that, right? And that's why those women are single because nobody wants them, right? And the thing is, like, I'm single because I have shit options. I know if I was fucking ripped, right? If I was ripped at 41 or 42 years old, I would have better options. I'd have like average looking women which who are more successful in life, throw themselves at me because that's what used to happen. I was above average looking in my prime. I had no success in life. The only thing I really had going for me was my physical appearance. So I would attract average looking women that were more successful in life, right? And they'd throw themselves at me, hoping to lock down a beta male that, looked decent. That's all it was. If I can get back to that, I could probably get an average looking woman my own age who's successful. But it's going to take some work, going to take some time. But yeah, I lack the energy and motivation to do anything with my life. And I don't, I haven't been playing computer games really hardly at all. All I've been doing when I get up, I sit down at my computer and I start browsing forums. The Looks Maxing forum and the MISC. And I would browse even more forums if I knew any good ones, but I don't. And what kind of life is that? Just eating, sleeping, and browsing forums, right? It's a rotting lifestyle. It's all it is. I've known lots of people, and the typical people I know around here aren't successful. Most of the people I know are not successful. The people I associated with, they were the type that worked some shit job a couple years, and they get laid off, sit on EI for a year, rotting, playing games, and eating pizza pockets out of the microwave. And after their EI was up after a year, they'd go back to some other shit job and do the same thing. Those are the kind of people I always associated with. I don't know many successful people, right? I know so many people that's on welfare and disability, getting money from the government for doing nothing, and are not successful at all. And you know, eh, obviously, you associate with that kind of people, those kind of people. That's what you're going to be too, probably. And that's just what my circle has always been. It's just been people like me that are rotting, and I want out, but I don't know how to make the change. Right? The alpha thing would to do would be get rid of all my shit, get what money I can for the shit I have, get in shape, and get the fuck out of Nova Scotia, out of this province, and go somewhere where there's, a better base income. Take some kind of special training, get an actual good job that pays well, like on the oil rigs, devote my life to working and making actual good income, and in my little spare time, work out, be healthy, and at 65 or earlier than that, retire a very wealthy man. But the problem is, I don't really want to work, even. And I think a part of the reason why that is because the years I spent working, I have nothing to show for it. I have more shit now in my room since I've been on disability than I ever had when I was working. When I worked and had my own place, I had nothing. I had no possessions. Like, the most valuable thing I'd have was a PC setup. And the PC setup I have now is the most valuable one I've ever owned. The PC setups I'd have before were like $700-800, and I'd have a bed, and I'd have a sofa, um, and that would be it. That would be like the extent of what I owned when I, you know, was working. I'd have a chair, like a love seat, sofa, a normal chair, like a rocking chair, a computer setup, and a bed and a dresser and some weight equipment, and that would be it. That's what I would have. I actually have some shit now. Like, as you see back there, I have two dressers, two stands, and I have a little mini freezer. I also have this little tiny linen dresser I got from Timu. I have my weight equipment, PC setup. I have in the closet a little pantry that I have some food in. Like, I actually have more shit now than I've ever had in my life. And when I worked, I had nothing. Fuck. Because when I worked, working minimum wage, you spend $10 on a meal at lunchtime, McDonald's or some bullshit, $20 on a pack of cigarettes, and the money's gone. You got nothing to show for your money, right? And now I don't eat out that often. I don't spend $10 a day, but now it's more than $10. I don't buy a meal at McDonald's every day. I don't buy packs of cigarettes from the store. You know, Even if I did work some shit job like McDonald's or Walmart, I'd be making about double of what I make now, and that still wouldn't be enough. That wouldn't be enough to make a substantial difference in my life, because an apartment is like $1,200, all inclusive. Like, that's a decent deal. $1,200 for an all inclusive apartment around here, and that would be literally 2/3 of my income on rent, and that's not realistic. Nobody spends two thirds of their income on rent. It's just retarded, right? Um, I spend quite a bit on rent now, but that's coming out of my welfare money. I spend typically 400 a month out of the 962 on rent, but that's different because it's not 2/3, right? And 2/3 on rent, that leaves me with enough money for food and smokes and medication. That's it, and I have nothing else to live for. And I wouldn't be able to buy lunch every day. I wouldn't be able to buy stuff from the corner store like smokes. I'd have to keep buying off the internet. I wouldn't be able to buy alcohol. I wouldn't be able to go to the bar. I wouldn't be able to buy weed. So, working some shit job like Walmart or McDonald's is out of the question. But I don't really have any skills. Like, the skills I have is like sales representative skills. And that means working for a call center, and I don't fucking want to work for a fucking call center. I could probably, if I was lucky and I stuck with a sales rep job, within a couple of years, I could be probably making, 5 grand a month if I was lucky. And, that's something, but I don't want to be a fucking sales rep. I really, really don't want to be a sales rep. That work is so fucking stressful. And that's the thing, like, if I'm working some shit job like Walmart, it's not going to be high stress. It's just going to be very repetitive and lonely. And I don't want to work a shit job like Walmart either because there's no future in it. What I would have to look forward to is getting promoted to a department manager and make an extra $1 an hour. What's that? A fucking dollar an hour extra. It's not even worth thinking about, right? Um, I laugh at the people I know around here. They work these shit jobs at like a grocery store, and they're a manager of a department, and it's like, okay, what are you making, like $21 a fucking hour, and you've been there for, 15 years? Like, you're scraping bottom. You're fucking scraping bottom. You can't even afford your own place. And if you do afford your own place and a vehicle, you have no money left over to buy anything you want, right? You buy your food, you buy your smokes, you pay for your vehicle, for the gas and the insurance and car payment, and pay your rent, and that's it. You've got nothing else. There's nothing else for you to look forward to. So the world is a shit place, and I didn't start out young, you know, trying to better myself. When I started out after high school, my focus was on improving my physical appearance by working out. That's it. I didn't even look smacks. I worked out, and I was under the false belief that I had to work out 4 hours a day every day to get somewhere. So that's what I did, and I got nowhere. Right? I did get stronger. My appearance did improve, but people that knew nothing about a healthy lifting lifestyle give me information about lifting weights 4 hours a day. They were literally like, lift weights all fucking day if you can. So I would try to do that, and for some reason I wasn't progressing. I wasn't getting stronger. Very, very slowly, and it was shit, you know? It's the blind leading the fucking blind. Like, and something I've learned as I've gotten older is I can't take advice from other people because other people don't know anything either. They don't fucking know anything. Unless they have an expertise in something, they don't know anything. And I've even known people who lived a lifting lifestyle where they lifted weights and ate healthy and got lots of sleep, and they tell me, like, if you want to work out all day, and it doesn't make sense because I've tried doing that and it doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work. I would get the same result before working out for an hour a day as I did for 4 hours. I actually got better results working out an hour a day. And the thing is, the devil likes chaos. And people would troll me, and they'd want to go against what is actually true and give me false information, it seems like, and it just trolls me. So I've learned later in life now that I can't take the advice of other people. I can't. And like, I'll have people on the MISC forum harassing me about work, telling me to get a job. And it's like they don't know what they're saying because what do I have to look forward to? Working at McDonald's or some other shit job for minimum wage, working 8 hours a day just to bring home an $1,800 paycheck every month and still not even be able to afford a good life, right? And it's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. And if I worked at some shit job like McDonald's, the best thing I could hope for is be there 2 years, get promoted to shift manager. Shift manager is quite a lofty position at, somewhere like McDonald's, and shift manager would be making like what, an extra, I'll be generous, $2 an hour extra, and that's nothing. That's fucking nothing. And even with an extra $2 an hour, that still doesn't help me get a vehicle on top of renting my own apartment. I still wouldn't be able to afford a vehicle, right? And I know people that are on welfare. They have a car, they have their own place, and the reason why they have a car is because they get a shit ton of money for having 5 kids or some bullshit like that. And right, I've known people who lost their kids, and when they lost their kids, they had to sell their vehicle. They couldn't afford to have a vehicle anymore because their fucking family allowance is paying for the insurance and the car payment and all that, and the gas, and you know, kids basically, it's a free check you get, basically. And I know people on forums, they'll tell me that having kids is expensive, and I don't fucking think it is. I don't have kids, obviously, so my opinion probably doesn't mean much, but I can tell you, like, I know how much people get for every month for having a kid, and it's a shit ton of money. It's a fucking shit ton of money, and that doesn't all go to food. Like, so where's it going? You know, it's going towards a car payment, going towards paying the rent. So these women that I know with a whole bunch of fucking kids, they're living a really fucking posh lifestyle because they have so many kids and they can buy their weed and smokes and alcohol and afford to make a vehicle payment every month because they have five fucking kids they're getting family allowance for. Five fucking kids family allowance is like $2,000, right? And I don't know anybody who spends $2,000 a month on five kids for food. I don't know anybody who does that, right? I don't spend hardly any money on food now. I just go to free handouts and stuff like that to get free food. And yeah, but I'm kind of going off on a rant. I hate the world. I hate my life. Hate everything about my life, right? I mean, my life could be worse. I'll be the first to admit that. My life could be a hell of a lot worse. But it could be a hell of a lot better too. Like, it's probably more bad than good, right? I don't have respect from people in my life, and I never have had respect from anybody. People just don't respect me. And people in my life, they don't know boundaries. And I've lost all my friends in recent years, and I either cut them off or they cut me off. It was, they would give me shit and I couldn't tolerate their bullshit, so I'd cut them off, or I would give them shit, they couldn't handle it, so they'd cut me off, and I lost all my friends that way, right? And a lot of it too is because when you know somebody for a long time, you become too comfortable with them, and you know, you just become too comfortable, and the gloves are off, and the rules change, and yeah. But this is a nice knife. I got this from Temu. I don't even know how much it was. I don't even care because I pay almost nothing for that bullshit. It says it's a kitchen knife. It's pretty sweet. It's kind of sharp. Fits nicely in the hand. And I have probably a dozen other knives coming in the mail, including an axe, like a camping axe. Looked pretty nice. That it has a sheath for the head. A whole bunch of knives coming and machetes and shit. And I've just been blowing my Temu credit, just because one of my accounts, I have four accounts, right? You're only supposed to have one, but I have four. And there's a reason for that. It was to scam the system. One of my accounts was offering me new user bonuses again, which was 6 free items on an order. So I jumped on that and made 3 orders in like 2 days of the max they would allow until they wouldn't let me do it anymore, just to get the free items on the orders, right? And they weren't the free items were nothing special. A lot of it was like a pair of sunglasses, a rechargeable flashlight, stuff like that, like a knife sheath, you know, that kind of shit. But it's something because those rechargeable flashlights, I can probably resell those for like $5 a piece. The sunglasses, I always need sunglasses. I had 3 pairs, and I lost a pair. I gave a pair away, and I still have 1 pair. So I always need sunglasses, and yeah. And I think I got a watch too, as one of the free items. Like, what the fuck am I gonna do with a watch? Probably resell it for $5. Nice watch, but nobody wears a watch anymore because everybody's got a fucking cell phone. But we're going on a 20-minute video. I might keep going. I know a lot of you boys will not watch this whole fucking video because most of you don't give a fuck about what I have to say. You know, who cares about what some ugly, fat, bald man wants to say, right? Old, fat, ugly, bald man. Because that's me. Give me a sec. old monster. I've drank so many of those. But I've been doing really well with dieting, and I'd be losing weight so much quicker if I was doing a lot of cardio too, like I was saying with the walking. But here in the early morning, right after the store opens, the grocery store, I'm going to go and walk up and down the aisles, like I was saying, and try to do it as long as possible. You know, as long as I don't get bored out of my fucking mind, I'm going to do it for, I'd like to say, like 2 hours. So we'll see. And if I can commit to 2 hours a day of walking, 5 days a week even, that's great. That's wonderful. But we'll see. I'm getting ahead of myself, right? And yeah. But moving day's coming up soon, less than 2 weeks. My sister bought a house, so I'll have my own room, and I'll be more dedicated to paying her rent every month than I have been. Um, I know she's gracious enough to let me live with her, but you know, living with family kind of sucks because they're comfortable around you and they'll give you shit and walk all over you and not respect you. And that's my experience with living with family, right? And until I get in government housing, which I'm on the list for, you know, I have no choice. I applied at some apartments, applied for some apartments, and with the for the rent subsidy, right, where the government pays the difference in rent if my rent is over a certain percentage of my income. And I never heard back from any of the landlords to the places I applied for apartments. So it kind of pisses me off because I am literally the best tenant anyone could hope to have. I'm the fucking best. Because I don't hold parties. I don't fucking have strange people coming all hours of the night. I don't sell drugs. I pay my rent. Um, I don't beat the hell out of a place and beat holes in the wall and shit and tear the doors off the hinges, anything like that. So I'm an amazing tenant, right? I don't have pets, so my pets aren't going to shit the floor up or stink the place up or get hair all over the place, right? So I'm the best tenant someone could hope for. So it really pisses me off that I don't get called back um, for these apartments. But I gave that up because that was stressing me out way too much, just being denied and not having phone calls returned to me. Um, but once I get into housing, my life will turn around for the better, I hope. But knowing the way I am, it'll probably make my life worse because I'm lonely as it is, and I live with other people, right? And once I get into housing and live on my own, I'll be even more lonely because I'll be alone, and I don't have any friends. And once I'm in the city in my own place, I have no connections there. The people that do know in the city, I don't want to associate with at all. I don't like them, and I don't really consider them friends. They're more acquaintances or people I hung out with for a short period of time, right? But yeah, and, you know, if I could have anything I wanted within reason to improve my life, within reason, what I would want is a good job. A reasonable job would be something like, you know, that pays like 3,500 a month. That's reasonable. I know people, not very many, but I do know people that have jobs that pay roughly that much, like 3,500 a month, and it's enough to pay the bills. You can have your own apartment. You can have a vehicle. You can make vehicle payments, pay insurance, pay gas. You can buy all your groceries. You can buy smokes. $3,500 a month, right? That's what I'd like to have. Is, you know, a job that pays about that much. Give me a second. I got so much trash piled up in my fucking room. Within reason, though, 3,500 a month take home. My own apartment of like $1,200 a month. A car, a new car that is a cheapo that has like $200 a month car payment on it. Um, a buff physique, ripped, nothing incredible either, just 160 pounds, twink mode, otter mode type physique. You know, one that's really ripped and muscular, 160 pounds at 6 feet tall, is a reasonable goal, right? That's not saying I want to be 200 pounds and ripped, because for most people that's not going to happen. Even if it did happen, it would take an incredible amount of work to get a physique and keep a physique like that. But at 6 feet tall, 160 pounds, and 12% body fat is perfectly reasonable. There's no way there's there's no way that that's unreasonable. Like, professional natural bodybuilders, typically at 6 feet tall, they typically weigh in the 160s, and they get down to single digit body fat, like, 6%. So being a little lighter than them, plus a little bit more body fat, is reasonable. Like, that's sustainable. That's an easy goal to reach. Well, not easy, but it's a reasonable goal to reach, right? And um, have a girlfriend, somebody who's reasonably attractive. She doesn't have to be a fucking model, but reasonably attractive and reasonably successful. I don't think that's too much to ask for either. Um, I'd like to have a few good close friends, develop friendships, but it seems like the older I get, the harder it is to make friends. The harder it is to fucking make friends, right? And I'd like to have a few good close friends. And what else would I like? I'd like to get off, preferably, all my medication, because it's just, medication is just another crutch that it's just it seems like BS. I want to get off my psych meds because you know I know so many people with mental illnesses that were formerly diagnosed with mental illnesses, and they don't take meds. So I shouldn't either. I know, but all those people I know that don't take meds, they're crazy as fuck. I can't handle them. And I don't think I'm crazy as fuck. And I'd probably learn to control myself and not go on schizophrenic ramblings, if I'm not on meds, right? But all the schizophrenics I've known, they'd go on these rambles about BS that makes no sense, about God and the Bible and conspiracies and aliens and spirits and ghosts and UFOs and all this bullshit that nobody cares about, that doesn't even make any fucking sense. And I can't handle being around people like that. I can't handle it. And it seems like online forums attract that kind of person, and I'm one of them, right? I take meds, so I don't have any schizophrenic ramblings at all. I'm pretty level headed, and I have a pretty good grip on reality while on meds. But I want to get the fuck off the meds, and I don't know how I'm going to do it. Because the last time I tried that, I started losing my grip on reality really quick. After like 6 weeks of tapering off, 6 weeks out of 2 months, I started having an episode, and it lasted for a couple months once I went back on the meds. So I don't know, maybe I tried to taper off too quick. But my doctor told me, he said, if there's no signs of a mental illness, tapering off at this rate, you shouldn't have any kind of relapse or episode. And I did. So I don't know. What I don't like about the psych meds is it amplifies negative characteristics, like being antisocial. If you're antisocial and you take risperidone, it's going to make you more antisocial, right? If you're withdrawn and quiet, it's going to make you more withdrawn and quiet, right? And that's it. I have to get out there and meet people, make friends, get a girlfriend, and all that shit, and have more ambition and desire to do something with my life and get in shape and all that, right? But I'm not happy with my life. I'm really not happy with my life. But it's been a half an hour, and I doubt any of you is going to watch this whole fucking video. But thank you if you do, and I'll cut it off there, and I'll see you online.